The Canucks just sent a serious message with an explosive season opener versus the Calgary Flames, with multiple key players rising to the monumentous first game moments that set the tone the right way for the Canucks on home ice to kick off the season. We're going to break down all of that in this episode of Canucks Digest, but first, if you're not a part of the 41% of viewers who are already subscribed to the channel and you want to stay up to date on all things Vancouver Canucks, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any of the updates when they drop. And with that, I'll hop right into it, which is the Canucks absolutely dog walking the Calgary Flames. So Canucks hockey is back in the regular season, and I'm sure all of you guys were watching the game at home and you were absolutely ecstatic with what you saw as the Canucks put on an absolute beatdown of the Calgary Flames that all started in that third period when that fluke goal happened off of that helmet where Hedl had the rebound, which we're going to get into in a second. But overall, Vancouver going in, setting the tone the right way to kick off the season, getting the home ice win, which was very hard to come by last year, and getting a lot of goals at that, which was also very hard to come by last year. In Vancouver, two of the things they had a hard time doing last year, they went out, they set the tone, they did exactly those things tonight. And you heard all the buzz coming into this game where the vibes were high in the locker room. Tyler Myers, Brock Boeser, having that feeling and that aura around them when talking to the media and just feeling like, yes, this locker room is feeling it for this game tonight. And they came out swinging. Kiefer Sherwood just hitting it, getting the goal scoring started with that first goal in the first period. And yes, when we're looking at those goals that were scored, Kiefer Sherwood scoring late in that first period, assisted by Drew O'Connor, and Sherwood had an absolute snipe from that the right side, facing the goalie. And then in the third period, Filip Hronek with his first goal of the game being that unassisted rebound one off of the helmet where it should have been really a play blown dead, but instead it was a fortuitous bounce for the Canucks and unfortunate for the Calgary Flames, where that was really kind of the flipping of the tone and of the momentum in the game. Vancouver already had the momentum, but that was really the moment for Calgary where the wheels just started to fall off and everything just went to hell from there. And it went great for us. In that second period, while there was no goals scored, it was a very physical period. DPD, he got his lick back from last year. The North remembers and the Pacific remembers as well, as he just went out and absolutely laid a punishing hit. It was reviewed and they did mark it down from 5 down to 2 minutes. When at the intermission, Ferraro was saying that it probably should have been 5 minutes, but we got off scot-free, especially when the hit previously on Elias Pettersson was marked down from a 5 down to a 2 minute. So they figured, all right, might as well make it fair, even though the hits were a little bit different. But overall, Vancouver was playing a very physical game. They were not giving any quarter to the Calgary Flames, making sure that they knew that they were there even after the whistle was blown. Kiefer Sherwood was in there in scuffles. Conor Garland, after that hit on DPD, Conor Garland really got in there. Derek Forbort came to his defense, but then right as Derek Forbort pulled him off of Garland goes right over to the next scuffle that's happening, just wanted some more to just try and get some more rowdiness going on the ice and in the crowd. It was really awesome to see. It was a really good physical second period, even though there was no goal scored. But then Filip Hronek just started to absolutely put on a clinic, getting his second goal of the game with a beautiful pass by Arshdeep Bains that set him up for a breakaway where he just absolutely undressed the goaltender. Jonathan Lekkerimäki with a sniper of a shot in the third period as well, getting his first goal of the season, assisted by Vander Kane and Conor Garland. And then Brock Boeser, of course. Beauty Brock Boeser. It's the season opener. Of course he's going to score one, as he set a franchise record tonight with his ninth career opening night goal, which of course is just perfect for him, being one of the most clutch goal scorers we have, probably the most, next to Jake DeBrusk. Actually, Brock Boeser's number one. Who am I kidding? You guys know I'm a big Brock Boeser fan. He is the most clutch player we have, and he just absolutely put the final nail in the coffin tonight, and it was awesome to see him join in on the action and get an opening night goal to set that franchise record. But everyone is going to be talking about Filip Hronek and his 2 goals tonight, because this was a big question heading into the game tonight, was what were they going to do at that second center position? It was going to be a very big question throughout the entire offseason that just never went away. And into this regular season, we were wondering, okay, are they going to be confident in Filip Hronek? They seem to have a lot of confidence in him. They seem to be buying the hype into him. And he absolutely proved that, yes, this 2C job is mine. After the game, he said he's not really concerned about any of those things. People can say what they want, or the stories can be whatever they want. He's just going out there and playing the best hockey he can play. And that's all that mattered tonight. And really, when you look at the grand scheme of things, all you have to do is just do your job week in and week out, day in and day out, and game in and game out. That's all you got to do. Just do the simple things right. Focus on what you can do to contribute to this hockey team, and everything else is going to fall into place. And that is exactly what happened for him tonight. Is that second line, it looked really good. Conor Garland, like I said, he was feisty and he was rolling on all cylinders. Arshdeep Bains had 2 big block shots on that penalty kill and got the puck cleared. The crowd was going wild. And then, of course, Filip Hronek with a really big night. First line was a little bit quiet, so hopefully we'll see them make a little bit of noise as the season progresses, of course. Then that third and fourth line was really impressive. Of course, that fourth line with Sherwood, Ratu, and O'Connor was the one that got the scoring started. Drew O'Connor seemed like he was in there a lot. He was a little physical. He did take a hold in the stick penalty, which you don't want to see. But thankfully, Vancouver did get off scot-free with not allowing a power play goal. And when you look at the defensemen, they was all like this. The defenseman core, we knew this was going to be set heading into this season. But still, overall, I was very happy with the goal scoring I saw on the game stats. Wasn't overly impressed with what we saw in the faceoff circle, only getting 43% of the faceoffs, but getting 26 shots on goal. That was a big thing for Vancouver because shots on goal was not a big theme last season. This year, it seems like it might be if they can generate this offense on a daily basis, or on a nightly basis, I should say. But yes, this is just the first game of the season. We don't want to get too high or too low on things. But still, at least they stayed disciplined and out of the box for the most part. Didn't give up any power play goals, but we didn't score any power play goals. That is another big thing on this Vancouver team that we have to look at from the last 2 years really into this year, is power play efficiency and how can you really get that going. With the hits, Calgary had a few more hits than we did. They were a little bit more physical, but we were still able to get things done and get a lot more takeaways, even though we had one more giveaway. More block shots. Arshdeep Bains, like I said, was a big contributor of that. And when you look at the stat sheet here of the overall box score of the night, we were wondering, what was Braden Coots going to be? How much ice time was he going to get in his NHL debut at 18 years old? Well, he only got 11 minutes, but it was still pretty decent. He still got in there. He was a -1. It was a goal that happened while he was on the ice. He still was able to get a hit out there as well, so he was still getting a little bit involved, but hopefully we see him get a little bit more in there and get a few more shifts in the next game, going from 17 maybe to about 20. Who knows? Depends on how much we're going to see that second line in there, or the third line, I should say, with him and some other players as well. But Thatcher Demko, of course, we have to mention here at the bottom there, where he faced 18 shots, only gave up 1 goal, made 17 saves, of course, with a 94% save percentage, and he looked absolutely insane. This almost looked like prime Thatcher Demko, and hopefully this is prime Thatcher Demko, where we have been waiting for him to be for the past 2 seasons now, it feels like, because of his continuing health issues, whether it's been the knee, whether it's been the groin, whether it's been whatever the hell. He is back, and he is healthy, and he is ready to prove to the NHL why he was a Vezina nominee 2 seasons ago, and why he should have won it had he played a fully healthy season. Here's time for reparations. I already was thinking about making a little bit of a side bet with my buddies, saying like, hey, I bet you Thatcher Demko beats Connor Hellebuyck, because I got a few Jets fans that I know in my personal life. They really love Connor Hellebuyck. So I say, hey, I'll throw you 20 on it. I bet you Thatcher Demko beats him for the Vezina. And I definitely think Thatcher Demko could have a shot at doing that if he continues playing like this, stays healthy. Of course, everything I'm going to be saying here is, yes, if we can continue this, yes, this is just the first game. It is a long, long season ahead, but it is still a really good way to start the season off. I was really happy with what I saw. There were still some things we have to improve. Obviously, the power play, face-off circle, being a little bit more physical, but without taking penalties. Keeper Sherwood and Vander Kane, they're going to do a great job of teaching some of these younger guys how to do it. DPD, especially, because you can't be taking penalties, even if you're trying to get some retribution from last season. You got to go about it the right way. So here's hoping that the vets are going to kind of pull him aside and be like, all right, we love that edge you have. Obviously, the fans love it. I love seeing it. I love the way that Elias Pettersson plays, especially because he brings that defensive edge that we need. When Derek Forbort, he's feisty as well, of course. Quinn Hughes isn't necessarily a fighter. Filip Hronek isn't necessarily. Filip Hronek is more of a beaker than a fighter, which is great because he can kind of get in their heads a bit more rather than roughing them up. But that is where DPD and Derek Forbort come into play and that is what we want to see. So this was a really fun game to watch for the Vancouver Canucks. It was a little bit of a slow start. It took a while to get to the exciting stuff, but once that deflection off the helmet happened, that was when everything just kind of started rolling in the Canucks' favor, and it was a very stress-free game for Vancouver Canucks fans. That's the way we want to start off the season, not being stressed out, biting our nails, or just screaming at our TVs because we blew a 2-3 goal lead, or we just could not get it done in the final minutes. This was a very good night to remember for Canucks fans, and it was on the 30th anniversary to the day that the Vancouver Canucks started. So this was in the Coliseum, I should say, in the Pacific Coliseum, and now they are here 30 years later with a lot of vets, where you had that photo of Jake DeBrusk with the young Braden Coots when Jake DeBrusk was in Boston, and now they're playing on the same team together, with Coots making his NHL debut tonight. Tyler Myers as well playing in the playing in the NHL. Basically only 1 year shorter than Braden Coots has been alive, which is absolutely insane to see with some of these young rookies that are playing with a lot of these older vets, where the age disparities, you kind of see those things. It's almost like when you see how, I look at Elias Pettersson, he's my age, and you look at the contract that he's getting, and it's absolutely insane. But you see players that are your own age or younger, and I'm sure this is something that some of our older viewers have kind of like seen over the years, where you see some of these younger guys and you start feeling yourself get a little bit older. I'm only 27, but still seeing these guys that are my age or younger just absolutely shining and just excelling. It's cool to see, but then you sit there as you feel like that old man syndrome just kind of kicking in a little bit early. But again, these are prime athletes that are in the peak of their careers, and hopefully we are seeing Elias Pettersson on the brink of a bounce back season. He talked to the media as well after the game, said that he could have probably had a better game, or he just felt really good. There was that play with Best as well. So I know that first line, it was a bit of a slower, or a bit of a lackluster start for the season compared to the other lines and the production they brought and the excitement and the juice that they had. But I think that this next game, that is when we're going to see this first line kind of really make an impact, outside of Brock Boeser, of course. Brock, you're fine. Just stay where you are. But I really want to see this first line kind of get 2 goals next game going into it as well. Would be interesting to see. I think that Braden Coots getting his first NHL goal within these first couple of games would also be really huge. I would love to see this NHL debut go to great use for him and his development, where when he goes back to the WHL, he goes there with maybe 2-3 NHL goals in those 9 to 10 games. Who knows? Maybe they give him an ELC out of this as well, if he can just absolutely rattle off some production. But that remains to be seen after tonight's game. We should be kind of having a good ballpark idea, maybe after the next game or two, what this kid is going to be made of in the first part of this season before he goes back to WHL. But let us know your guys' thoughts on the game as a whole. What were some things that you liked, didn't like? What were some things you want to see the Canucks improve upon? What were some things that absolutely blew your expectations, or some things that underwhelmed your expectations? Let us know down in the comments below. But that's going to do it for this episode of Canucks Digest. I've been your host, Griffen. Take care.